Hey, Ben Gitty here. Today I'm going to be building one of our tin can microphone kits, making a couple modifications to it to just spiff it up a little bit, make it look a little more vintage and old-timey. I'm building this today out here in the Gitty workshop because I need one of these in the Juke Shack for recording an old-timey sound. I want that old-time AM radio sound. So I'm going to put one together real quick. It doesn't take very long. You're going to see how easy that is, and also share a couple of ideas with you for how to make it your own and add a little bit more flair to it. So let's get started. So I've got all of my parts. I got the tin can, which is the body of the microphone, the pre-wired piezo jack harness, which is what does the actual picking up of the voice sounds, a couple of foam balls that are used as cushioning and insulation inside the can to keep it from being too trebly and too quacky, I guess you would say. It also comes with a printed microphone grill sticker. Not sure if I'm going to actually end up using this or not, we'll see. And then some screws that are used to put through to hold the lid on. Because the lid on these tins, it's a slip fit lid. So I'm going to start by roughing up this tin with some sandpaper. It's got an outer tin galvanized coating over the steel core. I want to get mostly down to the steel through that tin coating, so that the special chemical bath I'm going to use to antique this and darken it down and make it look old and rusty and cool can work directly on the steel. Then I'm going to follow the instructions that came with the kit to get my piezo and jack mounted, get those screws put in, put it together, and finally I'm going to use this old cut-off piece of a shovel handle to add a mount to this microphone so that it'll be able to be mounted into a standard microphone stand. So I'm going to get going and we'll see how it goes. I have not done any of this before. I'm trying out some new things here, so we're going to see how it works out. So I got a lot of that tin, can't really see, but I got a lot of that tin galvanizing off. There's still some on there. So what I'm going to do, I've got my little drill press here with a buff wheel on it. So I'm going to take this and use the buff wheel to try to get some more of that tin off, and then I will be right back with you. Remember, of course, use eye protection and all safety guidelines that you should follow when doing this sort of thing. I'm going to put some safety glasses on right now. I actually don't mind if there's a little bit of that tin left in spots, because that will resist the antiquing acid bath and kind of give it a cool mottled look, like parts have worn away and other parts haven't. So I'm not being too worried about that. Now remember, when using a drill press like this, you never want to get it, like I had this wooden piece under here, you never want to get it into a position where the workpiece is going to get bound up or get stuck against that spinning tool, because that'll cause your workpiece to fly across the room, back into your face, all sorts of bad stuff. So avoid that. Always follow all manufacturer safety recommendations when using any tool, especially power tools. I got now my tin and my top pretty much stripped of that galvanizing, so it should work quite well with the acid baths I'm going to use. I'm also going to rough this up a little bit. I want it to look old, dented, like it's been kicked around a boxcar by a group of hobos for about 10, 20 years or so. So let's have a go with that. All right, I'm going to proceed now with trying to rough this tin up a little bit. I don't have a lot of experience with this, so basically it's just going to be a hammer, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to take it easy on this top, because this top panel of the lid here, this thin metal piece, this is what the piezo gets glued to. And this vibrating from the force of your voice singing into it, that's what gets picked up, and that's what makes the sound that the amplifier gets. So I don't want to mess with this too much, because if I reduce the ability of that metal panel to vibrate, it's going to reduce the sound that this microphone will be it'll put out. I don't want that. So I'm going to mostly leave that alone and just try to dent up this body of this tin a little bit. You know, you get a little bit of that hammered look to it. Looks like it's been crinkled around a bit. I can use my fingers and thumbs to kind of add a little bit more creasing to it. Now for the sides, I don't want to just bang down onto it because that will knock it out of shape. So I'm actually going to just hold it in my fingers and kind of tap it, and you'll see it gives just a bit of denting, just a little bit of texture, a little bit of interest. Because the idea, anytime you're antiquing something, of course there's trickery to it. You're trying to give a brand new thing the look as if it's an old thing, right? That's what antiquing is. Take something new and mass-produced and try to make it look old and that it has a story and it's been places and done things. And so that's... Get some of those nice light dents in there. I am going to lightly distress the edge of the top with trying to not mess up that center panel. And you can see the result, hopefully, is that edge, instead of being sharp and straight and even, now is a little bit mottled. Okay, so I think now I'm ready to start applying the acid bath to this stuff right here. It's from the Surefin chemical company, and it's their Easy Black 55 jet black finish for steel and iron. This is a blend of acids and other things that basically discolors the metal to make it look old. So it's going to take this from shiny tin color down to like a black gunmetal sort of finish that I can then use steel wool and other things to lighten and do what I want with. So this is going to take a little while, and I got to be careful. Got to put on gloves, my eye protection, because these are strong acids. These are strong chemicals, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, you get them on your skin, you might not feel it at first, but you'll start to get this weird burning itch after a while, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to go flush this with water, don't I? Yes. So it's best to be protected from the beginning. So one thing with these acids, you want your workpiece to be clear of oils and dirt and grime. I'm going to get some of this jet black finish out into a little work cup here, and I'm going to start brushing it on. See that? See, it's already darkening. See this rim here? That's where I didn't get all the tin off. And the acid isn't able to get at the steel through that tin, and so it doesn't darken it down. But that's all right. Have a little wire brush handy. This is a brass wire brush, but that brass is actually tough enough to get down through some of that galvanization. So now it's time for me to go rinse these parts. You can see that acid has darkened it right down, almost made it look like gunmetal instead of tin. So I'm going, all right, back with a rinsed tin, a rinsed piece ready to go. I'm going to dry it off. And look at that, with the lid on. That is a tin that has seen some things. You can get these tin can mics for like $19, $19.99 over at cbgitty.com. Type in product number 5300201 and you can find and build your own tin can microphone. So it's saying it's time to put the lid on, and then I want to basically mark 4 cardinal points here and drill very small holes using a 1/16 inch drill bit. 1/16 inch, very fine drill bit. But you can clamp your tin right at the edge, because you don't want to crush it. You know, you don't want any, well, maybe you do, but I don't. And that, when placed on your bench, will help hold it steady while you're drilling. Another thing that makes drilling holes in metal a lot easier is a spring-loaded punch like this. A nice, clean little hole drilled right through the tin. All right. All right. All four of my screw holes to mount that lid onto the microphone body are now drilled. So it's time to drill a much larger hole for the output jack. This is where you're going to plug in so you can hook this microphone into your amplifier or PA system, whatever you're doing with it. Now, I have to keep in mind, I'm going to be mounting this piece. I'm going to cut it down a little bit first, but I'm going to be mounting this piece of little dowel, this broom handle or shovel handle to it. So I'm going to put my output jack kind of angled downward away from where I want to mount my mic stand jack. So now I start with a small hole. I use that same 16th inch drill bit, then I'm going to step up to a 1/8 inch. So now I'm stepping up to 5/16 inch. See how this goes. See, fast speed, light pressure, nice clean hole. The instructions tell you to use a 3/8 inch drill bit, so this should be good. Now this. All right, so I just verified that the shaft of my jack would fit down into that hole. And the instructions show you. They show you all of this: how drilling it, where to drill it, how you mount that jack into the side, and then mounting your piezo disc, pre-wired piezo, to the underside of the lid. So the jack, it just comes with a nut and a washer on there. You carefully remove those. Don't drop them. If you drop either of these onto your shop floor, God help you. So the jack shaft comes right through the side. So I'm going to use a pair of linesman's grips and just get on either side. Not the first time I've done this, either. Get on either side. Tighten her up. Good. Tight. Yeah, buddy. And there is your output jack mounted into your body of your tin can microphone. It's up to you if you go this route of antiquing your tin can mic, or even you could use spray paint. You could do all sorts of things. Then you can always reduce that after the fact. Take it back down a little, take it back off, until you get the level of antiquing that you want. It can be light, it can be heavy. You could paint it neon green if you want. Nobody cares. It's your microphone. You do what you want with it. Now, all right, so gluing a piezo right to the underside of the lid. What I'm going to do is put down a nice pad of hot glue, press the piezo into it, let that set up a little bit, cover it with some more hot glue so that the piezo is completely encased in it. That'll help reduce feedback and interference. And then, by God, we're almost done. It's not rocket science. You got a glob of glue, and it stays hot. You'll be able to move the piezo around for a while. It is very hot. If it gets on your finger, it hurts. The piezo, the whole thing, I encase in another big glob of hot glue. And you don't want to get too carried away, because the more hot glue that's on there, the more it'll deaden some of the responsiveness. So there's a happy medium. You want enough to fully encase and surround the piezo, but you don't want the whole underside of that tin lid to be glommed up with hot glue. It's not the prettiest glue job, but she's in there, she's mounted. Okay, so once it's closed up, I feel like I'm going to want that piezo, where the piezo's glued on, to be towards the bottom of the microphone. I've got to line up my pre-drilled screw holes. So what I'm going to do is mount my dowel like right here. Here's the jack. I'm going to mount my dowel right here. And I want it to stick out the back about 2 inches, so it'll go into a standard microphone stand holder, a clip holder. So what I'm going to do is measure. I'm going to get the amount I want, And I'm just gonna use my thumb to make a notch here on this dowel, and then a handsaw to cut it. Mount it right there. It's gonna stick out the back. And I'm just going to put one screw down through inside the tin into this dowel, which will allow the microphone itself to be turned and adjusted if needed.
All right, everybody. A little bit. So I have that tin can microphone that I just finished building, mounted right here into my mic stand. I've got it plugged into the PA. I'm talking to you right now through a standard studio mic because I want you to hear the difference when I bring this tin can mic into play. So I'm going to sing just one line from a song I wrote called Bad Moon. I was born under a bad moon, baby, seen trouble all my days. Do I sound like I'm on old-time radio? I was born under a bad moon, baby, seen trouble all my days. I was born under a bad moon, baby. They gon' bury me in an early grave. This has been a demo of the CB Gitty tin can microphone kit with a couple of embellishments and things. Get this kit for $19.99 on Amazon. You can find it cbgitty.com. Search for microphone kit and it'll come right up. It's a great little project, as I hope you've seen today. Thanks for watching.